Hey folks, Brendan here from Bluelight and welcome back to another one of my videos. For those of you who haven't seen any of my videos before, over the past several years or so I've been coaching and supporting people for the police recruitment process with a considerable amount of success. A good sort of 3,500 people are now in the police as a result of my support. They did the hard work, I just showed them a way. So, welcome to York. Here we are at the Management Centre at the York Marriott, where I've just finished a day of one-to-one coaching. So I thought I'd share some of what we've covered during this coaching. And the coaching has been to prepare someone for a final interview for a police force in England. I'm not going to say any much more about the particular force. It doesn't really matter because all of this is incredibly generic and it's an absolute must if you want to demonstrate that you've gone more than is expected from you in respect of the final interview. Now, I'd go on to say that the individual as coaching has been a special constable, but not for this particular force. So they've already got an insight into the police sector. However, they've not got the sort of insight which I'm going to cover here, which is the insight which is going to absolutely give you the edge at your interview. And this, I don't know if you can read it, if it's a bit too small, I'll be publishing some photographs of this on my Facebook group. So for those of you who aren't members, I've got a Facebook group, which is a closed group. It used to be secret, which means you couldn't find it, but now you can find it, and you can ask to join it. So there'll be a link down there in the blurb on how to get to that Facebook group. There's now over 5,000 members of that group. 5,000, that's amazing. 5,000 individuals who are hoping to join the police. A lot of them are previous clients who are in the police, and there's a few HR officers in there as well who sort of lurk around. One of them is actually quite helpful, he gets involved. So anyway, back to this. So one of the things that I highly recommended today is that we do a police station visit or a ride along. Now, most forces will do a ride along. Some of them will bleat some excuse about we can't do it because of health and safety. No, they can't do it because they haven't been bothered to put together a policy yet which will allow a ride along. A lot of forces will allow members of the public to do a ride along, and it's perfectly acceptable. I used to offer them to my members of the community when I was a neighbourhood inspector over a decade ago, so it's all very doable, and the force had, this was GMP, had a ride along policy. So the reason why we're going to do this is because we're going to use it as an opportunity to ask some really insightful questions. The questions are in the red, and in the green, what we did is we mapped over the new competencies from the Competency and Values Framework to look at how the answers to the questions that you ask will link into the Competency and Values Framework, just to demonstrate to you that there's absolute value in asking these sort of questions. So the first question that we wanted to ask was all about the culture. What's it like working for this force? What's it like working at this police station? What is the culture like? And because at this particular force we do believe they're going to ask, like many forces do, a question which is a sort of what would you do if, an integrity type question, where they're going to give you an integrity type conundrum. Maybe that one of your friends who's also a police officer has posted something that's rather sexist or maybe even subtly racist on a Facebook group or a Facebook page. What is it you're going to do? So we thought it'd be valuable to run that by the individuals who we come across to say, how would you or your team react to a breach of integrity? And what we're looking at here is there a sense of organisational justice going on in that particular force or that station, where people respect each other, trust each other, value each other's different opinions? Whether there is or there isn't, it doesn't matter. You've got some valuable information there which you can tag along to your interview answers. Also links to the competency areas of emotionally aware and support and inspire. Then we looked at what are the sort of main or common types of incidents that you're attending. My guess is for most forces now it's going to come out as mental health issues. What impact does that have on you on resources? What impact does that have on you as an individual? How well do you believe you are trained to deal with those sort of issues? To what extent did it come as a surprise to you when you first joined? So really good open questions like that. Next, we're going to link this to how does the team operate? So how does it go about doing its business? What sort of team is it? And out of this, I think you'll get a sense of how much of a police family they are and much of a tight bond they've got with each other, which can be one of your inspirations for answering the question, so why do you want to be a police officer? We can talk about that sense of family that exists. It's very powerful, it really is. The police family is very, very powerful. Something else, you just don't know what's going to come over, but I used to call it the kebab camaraderie. How on the last set of nights, we'd always do something like go and get team kebabs, or someone would make a chili or a curry or something like that. So there's that real sense of coming together in adversity to deal with some very challenging and difficult situations. And we believe that that linked into, how does the supervision work as well? And we've got values about being open-minded there and innovative. Hopefully there'll be some force approaches or some approaches that the division is doing or the borough's doing, which are particularly innovative and open-minded in how they operate. Next, importantly, code of ethics. Again, linking into supporting and inspiring. What does it mean to you, or what does it mean to the team on a day-to-day basis? Really good question there. And then moving into what are the challenges? What are the difficult situations that you're dealing with in terms of to the team, the force, but particularly what is it that's challenging you as an individual? And how are you accountable for dealing with those challenges to the community or to the people who are involved in those challenges, whatever the issues are? And we believe that this linked in with the competency value of taking ownership. Now you can see we started running out of space a little bit here. Perhaps I should have used another flip chart, but like I said, there'll be a photograph of this on the Facebook group, and if you want to join, like I said, there's the link below. I know, that's a shameless plug, never mind. Another really interesting question that you can ask is, how does being a police officer impact on your personal life? How does it impact on you, and how do you believe it's going to continue its impact on you should you decide to keep on going for your full-term career? So there's a lot there about well-being. Ask a lot of questions about what sort of support the force is providing in terms of well-being, your mental health, and also the risk of assault. So what does the force do to try and lessen that risk of assault? And if you were assaulted, how would you be treated? Can you give me an example of how someone's been treated when they were assaulted? Now I see some great examples on Twitter of divisional commanders who go around and visit next day someone who's been assaulted who's now off sick. And I also hear some other examples where people have been assaulted, they're off sick, and the best they've managed to get is a couple of calls off their fellow colleagues. No interest at all from the senior members of staff on the division or borough. So that links in again with the culture. What sort of culture exists within that force? It's your opportunity as well to check out whether you actually want to join them, because you might actually find that there's something you don't like about them. Or chances are you're probably going to find out there's a lot to like, because what a great job it is. Now, being aware of the impact on your life and the impact of certain incidents on you in terms of things like your ability to bounce back, that resilience, links in there with the competency area of being emotionally aware. And then at the very bottom there, we thought about problem solving and reducing demand. So some of you may have heard the definition of madness that came from Albert Einstein, and I think it goes along something along the lines of doing the same thing every day and expecting different results. So if the police are dealing with these main or common incidents and challenges in the same way every day, they are not problem solving, they are not reducing demand. They are not linking in with the competency of analysing critically, working collaboratively with partners and importantly community, and they're not taking ownership for problems. So there's something there about their approach to problem solving. You may find that you get an answer which is something along the lines of, we just don't have time anymore to do problem solving. Dig deeper, dig deeper. Ask about people who are doing problem solving. Ask if you could speak to one of the PCSOs. Find out what is going on in terms of problem solving, because if there's a force out there that's not doing any problem solving or trying to reduce demand, then I'm sorry, but they've just given up and got their coats. Because it's one of their primary roles as a police officer is to prevent crime rather than go and detect it. Really important, this gets right to the heart of the Peelian principles. So there you go, folks. A little bit of guidance about the sort of questions you can ask when you go and visit a police station. I would highly advocate that you do this. If you don't, you're missing a trick. Because when you get questions like, what are the challenges facing the police at the moment, you can refer back to this live visit, as opposed to the very dull answer of, well, from Google, what I got was, or I read in the newspaper the other day, or I went to a forced briefing that you provided for potential recruits and what I heard there was. Well, I'm sorry, that's something that's being handed to you on pretty much on a silver platter, or you just couldn't be bothered getting off your backside and getting away from the computer to go and find out what the real world is like. I've only had one person who's come back to me to report that he got an unfavourable reception at a police station, and that was Merseyside of all police forces, which I didn't expect. They got a very, very grumpy reception at the police station with a council clerk going, I don't think we do that kind of thing, and then a sergeant coming along and saying, no, we're too busy. Well, can they come back when you're not busy? We're always busy. So he got the grumpiest response ever, and that was in the morning. So he went back in the afternoon, figuring that the afternoon shift can't be as grumpy. They were just as grumpy. That says something about the culture at that police station. So what did he do? He thought, well, they can't all be like that. So he went to a police station about 5 miles away and got completely different reception. He got welcomed in, the inspector greeted him, the sergeant spoke to him, he got given a tour of the police station by one of the constables who just completed their training, introduced a couple of PCSOs, spent over an hour there, asked all of these questions, completely aced his final interview. Although we did get a bit of a snotty email from HR who emailed him to say, I believe you went to visit one of our police stations. We didn't tell you could do that. Well, they didn't tell him that he couldn't either. So I'm quite impressed with him, and so is the interviewer. So stick it out, folks. You might get a bit of a grumpyism at the front desk when you ask these sort of questions, or do ride-alongs. And use your contacts as well. So if you've got any contacts in the police, any relatives or friends, reach out to them, get inside the police station. Don't go through HR, because they're just going to scratch their heads and we haven't got a policy on that, or we don't do that, or you're the first person that's ever asked, or some of the fob off. And that's honestly what happens. You know, you'll get fobbed off by HR. Don't go through them, just go and knock on the door of the police station. You're going to be one of their future colleagues. So if they treat you like dirt and you're going to be one of your future colleagues, then have a bit of a think about that force. Take a look at that culture, because there's loads of forces out there that have got cultures that are just absolutely amazing. And there's a few forces out there that have got cultures which, I'm sorry, but from the outside in, I'd have to describe them as being a little bit toxic. So work it out for yourselves, folks, and work out, is this the sort of force I want to be part of? Are these the sort of people I want to work alongside? The majority of the time you'll find that, yes, there'll be inspirational characters, but it's your opportunity to find out what it's really going to be like. So, hope you found this useful. If you have, please do like if you're watching this on Facebook, or subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And by the magic of YouTube, every time I publish another one of these, you'll get an email that says, Brendan's published another police recruitment video. Some blurb underneath there in the comments about my courses I run to help you through the recruitment process, or for many people just joining the Facebook groups enough, and all the advice and guidance on there coupled with my YouTube videos is enough. Either way, folks, I'm pleased to be able to support you. So until next time, I'll catch up with you soon. Bye bye for now.